Hello and welcome to Teleislas News with the most relevant and important information of the day.
According to a resolution of the Ministry of Health that came out yesterday, the archipelago will receive more vaccines that will be applied to the population in accordance to the priority list of the islands. The Secretary of Health, Julian Davis, gave an update on this information.
The Secretary of Health provided information about a new batch of vaccine that the island will receive in order to continue evacuating the most vulnerable people to COVID-19. By the end of the day, the number of those benefit from the doses against the dangerous virus will increase.
Stage 1 corresponds to the frontline health personnel and those over 80 years of age. As the vaccines arrive in Colombia, they will be distributed to each one of the departments and regions of Colombia, and according to that, the programming of these people will be done.
On the other hand, as summary, the Secretary indicated that the 42 vaccines that arrived from Pfizer last week were applied in 2.5 hours to the health personnel on the first line. He also added additional information about the next batch of vaccine that will be applied on the island.
Estamos pendientes de que nos llegue la nueva asignación de esas vacunas de Pfizer.
We are waiting for the new allocation of Pfizer's vaccines to arrive. According to the second resolution, the allocation of these vaccines, there is one for 54 vaccines and another for 108 vaccines, which is a resolution that came out yesterday, and we will be waiting for them to send us these 160 vaccines. And the 70 Sinovac vaccines that were sent to us, 13 vaccines were applied yesterday in the old people's home, and today 18 doses will be applied to the personnel of the UAP del Norte, who are the ones who manage all the personnel of the Teachers Union.
And with satisfaction, the director of the INFOTEP, Silvia Montoya's office, gave a statement on the lifting of the inspection and surveillance measures imposed on the institution in 2017. According to Montoya, the work was not easy, but with joy, she can say that together with her work team, they achieved it.
It wasn't easy work. It was a teamwork, really. But we feel very happy that we passed through this situation right now. We are working hard to make this institution as the university of the department. So we are trying to pass through a process that named Redefinición por Ciclos Propedéuticos. This is the authorization for the ministry to give programs técnico-profesional, technologies, and university programs. So this is what we have for the institution, and we are trying to do our best to get this.
It is important to remember that the measures brought by the Ministry of Education were the product of a request for an audit and comprehensive visit that the rector requested at the time of assuming directorship of the institution in 2016. The rector of INFOTEP said that at the end of the whole process, after 3 years, the difference has been evident, especially in the number of young people that are linked to the institution.
Community is also believing back in INFOTEP, because one time I started in 2016, we only had 34 students, and right now we have 935. We have an investigation group, and right now we are receiving money from regalias. So I think the community is believing in the institution.
Finally, she said that the goal is to turn INFOTEP into the university of the department.
And for the second consecutive day, the members of the Assembly met again to analyze different proposals.
The start of the second ordinary session was highlighted by the position taken by 5 deputies upon leaving the precinct after the roll call. This due to the difference that exists among them as to who should proceed as the president of the Duma. During the session, Proposition 004 was approved, which seeks to organize an open competition to obtain the designs for the reform of the internal spaces of the Duma.
Well, this Proposition 004 is to that all the young architects can present a design to the Assembly. We want to extend the Assembly that the community can come and visit the deputy. The Assembly doesn't have a space where we can attend the community, and the community is having complaint that when they come and look for them deputy, they don't find them deputy. So this is the only department that the deputies doesn't have somewhere, each one of the deputies doesn't have somewhere where they receive them community. So as president and member of the directive board, I want to change that So the professional that work in the area of architecture will present in a design when we put up the convocatoria.
With 6 votes in favor, Proposition 005 was approved, which summons the Secretary of Public Service Delfor Brackman to report of the plans that the administration has to intervene on the 13th Street and the problem of District 4.
We are exciting the Secretary to talk about the street that do not have the street that is in bad condition, because the department have about 5 or 6 years in that district with a contract, and they have like juridical problem, but the juridical problem can solve, and we want the administration to advance. We don't want the administration to stick down, because 4 years go fast. So as the new beginning, we want the administration to find a solution, talk with the people that is in like I would say, the people that have the demand on that contract, and get it straightened up, that we can see the progress in the community.
The Assembly will continue this week in ordinary sessions to analyze the projects that are going to second and third debate.
And in the last hours, the Departmental Police announced the capture of alias B1 for the crime of manufacturing, trafficking, carrying, or possession of firearms. This is within the framework of the strategy of coexistence and citizen security.
The capture of this citizen was achieved thanks to the controlled registration and background checks that the police are carrying out in the Cliff sector in order to reduce crime rates and this ensure a healthy coexistence among its inhabitants. According to the communique issued by the institution, officers observed this citizen in a suspicious manner who opened notice the police present tried to evade the officers, who immediately performed a personal search and found in his possession a pistol-type firearm with a supplier and unused 3 cartridges that belong to the same type of weapon.
Once again, the National Police in the department, with all its 100 capacity and under the Plan CN of micro-trafficking, achieved the capture of alias B1. This person was doing some criminal activities in the neighborhood of Cliff and is a recognized offender in that sector. In addition to that, he is dedicated to the activities of micro-trafficking, drug retail, and theft. He was captured by qualified personnel and expert in personal operations.
The man was immediately captured and placed at the disposal of the Attorney General Office, where he will have to answer for the crime of manufacturing, trafficking, carrying of possession of firearms, accessories, parts, or ammunition. So far this year, 2021, the National Police of the Archipelago has seized 13 firearms and captured 17 people for the crime of manufacturing, trafficking, carrying, or possession of firearms.
And we continue with news from the sister island of Old Providence. The Criminal Chamber of the Superior Court of San Andres declared null and void all measures in the action for protection process filed by the President of the Civic Oversight, Josefina Huffington, regarding problems in the reconstruction.
That is how the magistrate declared the entire file that was in second instance, returning the process of action for protection by Josefina Huffington for fundamental rights of the people of Old Providence to the Second Circuit Court, while notifying a number of institutions that could be involved in this process.
Digamos que en este proceso se tienen que vincular.
Let's say that in this process, a series of secretariats have to be linked: the Planning, Health, and Government Secretariats. In addition, the General Manager of Reconstruction of the Archipelago has to be notified, as well as the Regional Manager.
According to the lawyer of the NGO de Justicia, nullities are an exception in the judicial process, especially in the actions for protection. But this is an opportunity for the local government to make a complete pronouncement on important points such as:
El primero es sobre la garantía de la...
The first is about the guarantee of decent housing for people in Old Providence. There is evidence since November until very recently of people who are not living in decent conditions, people who have not been relocated or whose houses still have roofing issues.
The second point is to guarantee the return of displaced persons from the island due to the hurricane and to show how they will protect their right to property.
Y finalmente, ¿cómo van a garantizar la participación de...
And finally, how are they going to guarantee the participation of all racial people of Old Providence in the reconstruction plan that is being developed? This is a plan that has not been published and is not public knowledge, and in spite of this, reconstruction actions have already begun on the island.
The evidence presented during this process will retain its full validity and will be fully effective in the new process.
Recent days, the Federation of Fishermen of Old Providence and Santa Catalina made an official public statement in which it rejects the disagreed of the will of the Rizal people on the construction of the Coast Guard station by the Navy.
Actions carried out by the Navy, such as the placement of a floating pier blocking the Fish and Farm Court dock location, caused a strong public statement from the Fisherman Federation of the municipality. This federation rejects the actions that disregard the will of the Rizal people who rejected the construction of a Coast Guard station in that place.
If the National Navy appreciates and respects our people as much as they say they do, then they should respect the will of the people expressed in the prior consultation of 2015, where the community strongly upholds the construction of the Coast Guard station.
The communique demands that the fishermen ethnic rights be guaranteed, as they claim that the Coast Guard has sought more to protect industrial fishing than to guarantee the safety of fishermen.
Mr. Rafael Hudson drifted for 3 days and ended up on the coast of Nicaragua because they did not allow themselves to be helped and did not want to coordinate with the fishermen of Old Providence. They wanted to take credit and use it as an example to support the idea of the need of a Coast Guard station. The same happens with illegal fishing. They are very inefficient to control illegal fishing in the Northern Keys and here in Old Providence.
The document finishes by talking about the prohibition of military activities in indigenous territories.
It obstructs
the economic reactivation of the fishermen by crossing the place where the floating dock of the Fishermen's Cooperative Fish and Farm used to be.
So far, there has been no statement from the Navy concerning the document.
Hello, here are the best sports of the islands. With success for the island in the Elite Basketball Cup held in the city of Bucaramanga, where the Islander Warriors were crowned champions. The Sun Bay Warriors team represented San Andres in the Elite tournament that took place in the city of Bucaramanga. They crowned in the final against the Soutonians team led by Venezuelan players. The island team was led by Victor Hooker, and as an attendance were Stefano Steele and Hassan Hawkins, who led the South Bay Warriors team to the basketball title in the Elite Cup held in Bucaramanga. They defeat the Soutonians team by a score of 79-64. These were the words of the Warriors assistant coach Hassan Hawkins.
7 teams in the Copa Elite we're going to play Bucaramanga, 7 teams, and out of the 7 teams we play everybody together, and if we are best classified, well, we classify second, we lose 1 game, and we classify second. Then we play elimination 1 game, then semi-final 1 game, and we win that and go final against the same team we beat we, one Venezuelan team. We beat we 1 game in Shonga, we play final against them, we beat them by 15 points. If they continue help out the basketball from here, we got planned to go to a national competition in April.
Winning the Elite Basketball Cup has been a very positive experience for the archipelago, as stated by coaching staff of the Sun Bay Warriors. And this is all in sports for tonight. We will see you on another broadcast. We continue with Lisa.
Thank you, Victor, and this was all for tonight. See you tomorrow at 1 p.m. in another broadcast of Teleislas News.